Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I'm your host, Saeed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. So we're going straight into the news tonight. It has been a rainy few days in Trinidad and Tobago, viewers, over the weekend. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago is not the first time we have seen flood all over the country. We have a new government in power. I have seen some of the ministers and them. They were in the ground, in the flood, taking the weather. Did you ever see a PNM minister do that? How many of you could call in the program and say, yes, we have seen ministers from different ministries of the PNM government walking the streets, going into the lagoons, going into the back roads to check the flooded area with the citizens or the members of the community. Feel free to call in 238-6716. Let's have a discussion tonight. So Trinidad and Tobago, while the yellow level weather alert has been lifted, the Met Office officially declared the start of the rainy season. Local government minister Khatija Amin says the ministry flood mitigation operation remain active across all 14 municipal corporations. She says, Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisasa has issued a call for additional equipment to clear water course. Listen to this.
The flood mitigation exercise within the Ministry of Local Government continues with our 14 regional corporations. In fact, additional equipment is going out to some of the regions. The Prime Minister has issued additional equipment in that area there to clear some water courses that have not been cleared in many years.
So Trinidad and Tobago, over the next few days, there are 14 municipal corporations in Trinidad and Tobago. So we're going to try to reach out to the 14 and see if we could talk to the chairman of the corporation to find out what does their corporation have in place for their community in this rainy season that just kicked off in Trinidad and Tobago. So we think like we want to know if the machine's working, what repairs need to, whatever machine they have. I mean, if they have money in the corporation, you know, that's the main issue. For the last 9 years, corporations in Trinidad and Tobago, they were complaining that they do not have money, they do not have the resources. While money always missing in Trinidad and Tobago, with the last administration, let's hope that money don't go missing this time around with this new administration. And that is what I can say for now. But viewers, in the coming days, we're going to try to reach out to the corporation chairman. Those of you who would like to be live or take a phone interview from Real Talk, please contact me 3391670. The chairman, I'm glad to have you on a phone conversation. So your community, by extension, Trinidad and Tobago will know what the corporation is going through with equipment, with whatever it is that they need to get this task done. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, according to a release from the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, failing infrastructure continues to leave some communities exposed. The release described the Region A, sensitive flooding prone area. All over Trinidad and Tobago there were flood, viewers, and there are many more of what we saw over the weekend to come. Let's just hope the corporations in Trinidad and Tobago could be able to clean the water causeway. I mean, there is no better time to do it than now when the rain is falling. So we wish the corporations, the chairman, the workers, everybody, we wish them the best in this rainy season and keep your guards up. That's what we could say concerning the flooding issue in Trinidad and Tobago. Let's hope the farmers could come out now and unite. We have a new ministry, new organization, new people. Work together and let's see how best we can do this thing. Moving along. After his tour of the University of the West Indies, Davie campus, Oropouche East MP Dr. Rudolph Munilal expresses disappointment over the facilities condition and call for an investigation into the campus maintenance since 2015. During an interview, Munilal said, He was angry at the People's National Movement for allowing this campus to reach to its present state. Munilal.
The PNM government never opened this campus, and the horrible sight to see student halls unoccupied, potentially beautiful classrooms and lecture halls. In fact, there's a moot court built here for the law school. I mean, I told the principal it looks like the International Criminal Court. It looked like the ICC or the International Court of Justice in The Hague. It is so beautiful. And to think that in all these years it was never used. The cricket pavilion, unbelievable. It has been abandoned, overrun by bush and overrun by vegetation and so on.
Now viewers, although the campus was occupied during the COVID pandemic for emergency purposes, many sections were overgrown with bush and rust. Listen to this.
This is a massive, almost palatial type of campus, 100+ acres. It is covered mainly, 75% is covered, as a derelict site, as a rust site, overrun in some areas by bush and grass and vine. And the railings, all the fabricated work and so on is in a state of rust and decay. The swimming pool is empty. The sporting facilities are, run down. It has not been occupied for 10 years.
However, the university will officially open for academic program in August 2025 and will mainly house UWE's newly launched Globe School of Medicine, GSM, which will cater mainly to international students pursuing a Doctor of Medicine MD degree. Although an estimation was not given, Munilal said it will take funding to refurbish the facility. Munilal.
Reutech has been occupying here for some time, a short time, and there are facilities that are being used, and you can see where has been used and where they have fixed. It is top of the line, state of the art facilities. This will take some funding to renovate, to rehabilitate, really, to refurbish in some cases. It is intricate work,
So Trinidad and Tobago, consider education. We have Gatsby Dolly, who is the former Minister of Education. Tonight I want to ask publicly on a live television program, what was Gatsby Dolly's plan for the education system in Trinidad and Tobago? What was her plan? What was her plan in motivating youngsters to get an education? What was Gatsby Dolly's plan? 9 years you were Minister of Education. And what growth in education can you say you left for the youngsters of Trinidad and Tobago? What? So now we have the UNC government in place. We have ministers in ministry. I am going to be challenging these ministers together with the past ministers of different ministries. Tonight we heard Munilal. Munilal wants to make it an international school for individuals to come in for medicine. What was Gatsby Dolly's plan for the last 9 years? What did she acquire? What did she put in place? What does it have presently in the education system for youngsters to stay off the street? Well, let me not use the term off the street. Whether you have education or not, whether you decide to rob somebody, is your mind, right? But what did she put in place for the last 9 years for the education sector? That I would like her to come out and say what she put in place. Now that she becomes a former Minister of Education, I would like her to tell Trinidad and Tobago what she did for the education system in our country. Sometimes it's just one day, you know. It is just one day, you know. Would I like a better education system for Trinidad and Tobago? Yes. Yes, I would love to see that. I'm talking on my behalf as a father, and I am talking on the youngsters' behalf in Trinidad and Tobago. Education is the key to success, you know. Education, common sense. Acting Commissioner of Police, Juna Benjamin, says there has been an increase in firearm users' license FUL applications. It comes as the UNC, while in opposition, promised to make legal gun ownership easier. If they won the election on May 8, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar encouraged law-abiding citizens to apply for their firearm users license FULs. Benjamin says he expects the uptick to continue. Benjamin.
I can't say exactly how much per day. I know at one time when I had inquired, at that particular time in the day, they were saying that they got about 18 on one particular day. So, it means generally that we're seeing a more regularity in terms of applications at this time.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, he said the police service is embracing technology to deal with the expected rise. By making the process available online, he says this will benefit stakeholders, including applicants. He explained, this is all part of the TTPS drive to rebrand itself and become more technology-driven. Benjamin.
We have put things in place for the online applications, and we are presently monitoring that. I have not asked as to how much in terms of the online what we're seeing, but that is something that I could certainly get some more information and make that information available to you as soon as I get it. The IT section, we had put everything in place to commence it. However, I think the actual launch was what I was, I'm not sure if it was there, but I'm certain it would be there within the next, if it's not there, within the next week or two.
Now, viewers, this will be good. This will be nice. I will encourage this. You know why? This is something I've always been saying. In other countries, from the time you reach 18 years, or at an age where you can qualify for a firearm, they will tell you come in and apply. You know why? To protect yourself, to protect your home. In Trinidad, former Prime Minister Keith Rowley said he is not going to turn Trinidad and Tobago into a wild, wild west. But the thing is, Trinidad and Tobago have reached a stage where it became the wild, wild west with illegal firearm. With illegal firearm, Trinidad and Tobago became the wild, wild west. And there is no pass. Minister of National Security could stand up and say they have crime under control. They cannot stand up and say in no media briefing or in no interview that, you know what, we have the illegal firearm under control. They could never say that. What they could say is that they have the legal process of getting a firearm. They could say they have it under control. Earlier, 20,000, 25,000 application for her to sign off on. And how much sign off on? 100. 100. That is how they protect citizens. I always say, and this is something I will continue to say this thing, because let me tell you something. I travel all over the world. All over the world I just travel. when an individual have a firearm in their possession, one of the main things they have to do is give accountability. They will have to give accountability for that firearm more than the child minor in the house. That is how serious it is. And I have told Rastaman times, the more homeowners and business owners in Trinidad have firearm, the less crime it will have in Trinidad and Tobago. You want to know why? I, for one, if I know Navin have a gun in his house and Navin is shoot, you think I, as an individual, going and jump Navin fence? Nah. That's the last day I might see it, I might jump a fence. That's just an example, right? Now, I just always say, on national television, I just always say this. You jump my fence, I kill you, stone dead. I don't care who's your mother and father. And when the police officer come now, sideway kill the man for. Officer, did you help me buy this property that I own? No, Saeed. Do you know the struggles that I make on a daily basis to make sure I have money to pay for my property? No, Saeed. Officer, did you tell this individual to come in my property? No, no, Saeed. Well, I didn't give him permission neither. So when you jump my fence, I'm killing you stone dead. And this is one of my motives I have lived with all my life. Jump my fence, I'm killing you. I work in 17 hours a day. I know how I work for my money. You just can't come and jump my fence and decide, you know what? I'm going to rob you. No, you're going to meet God. I always tell people that. I don't care what they say, and I don't really believe. Let me tell you something. I don't really care what the police say. You know, when they jump my fence, I kill you, stone dead. Because of the fact that if it is a police, if a bandit jump a policeman fence, you think that police going to ask, who sent you there? What you doing there? Why you jump? No, he going to shoot you stone dead. Is that the bandit kill the police and the family, or the police kill the bandit? One out of the two. It's not police, you know. But jump my fence, I killing you stone dead. So I always tell people, protect your property at all costs. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, commenting on the halt of granting FUL's application, Benjamin said, some have been issued, but not any great majority. He added that the process of issuing of these FULs need to be fair and responsible. Benjamin.
What I think needs to be put in place is the systems in place so that we can ensure that is not everybody could have an FUL, but we want to make sure that the people who get the FUL are persons who are deserving because of the situation that they face. All right, and not just every person just coming to get one because they want to get one. There must be certain grounds upon which we look to ensure that these are the people that should get it.
So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back from this break, we're going to have the PNM internal election set for June, right after this.
We'll be right back.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over, with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
Welcome back.
So viewers, I just want to say thanks to Benjamin for taking our calls today to give you a little insight of one or two little things. But we're going to try to get somebody from TTPS to come in, and we're going to have a discussion concerning security in Trinidad and Tobago. But thanks to Benjamin. PNM Pro, Faris Arawi, has announced that election convention on June 29th, and all speaker at Party General Council has support that position. Faris.
We resolved that the General Council summon a special convention to be held on Sunday, June 29th, for the specific purpose of election of all the officers of the movement, being the following offices. We have specifically also agreed, in keeping with our precedents of how we do one man, one vote, that the taking of the ballot for the election of all of the officers will be executed at each of the 41 constituencies on Sunday, June 22nd, 2025. So to explain that, we do the ballot the weekend before the convention. The result of the ballot is then taken to the convention, and at the convention, the election is perfected. So we're in keeping with our constitution of the People's National Movement. The anomaly is the fact.
Now viewers, Al-Rawi said the General Council felt there should be unity of the office and the officers of political leader and the opposition leader. He added that the anomaly is the fact that the opposition leader doesn't sit in leadership of the party. And that was something to put right as quickly as possible. Hold on, Director. So how come all of a sudden Faris come up with this? How come they didn't have this when they were in power? How come? He added that a normal is the fact that the opposition leader doesn't sit in leadership of the party. And that was something to put right as quickly as possible. So why all didn't correct this when you all were there for 9 years? Why you all didn't correct this? Listen to Faris.
the anomaly is the fact that the leader of the opposition does not sit in leadership of the party. And that is therefore something that we're very concerned to put right as quickly as possible. The leader of the opposition declared that she would be seeking the post of political leader, and all of the speakers this evening certainly recommended and gave their support for that position. The leader of the opposition also acknowledged that it is a very open democratic process, this election for political leader, and that all contenders are welcomed.
You know, it's sad how things just come out. All the ideas coming out now, you know. All the ideas coming out now. Arawi said some of the councils, conventions involve the truthful discussions that a leader of a political party is an essential office. All I hear that? I'm surprised Farah said this. He said he personally intends to support Beckles for political leader. Trinidad and Tobago, in the coming days, weeks and months, we're going to see some new things coming out by the PNM maybe. Anyhow, former Attorney General Faraz Al-Rawi has stated that Finance Minister Dave Tanku may have created a legitimate expectation in law when he said people who pay property tax would be getting a refund. Listen to this.
Look at the situation with Minister Tanku providing a legitimate expectation, you could argue. No property tax, you will get your return. And then the Prime Minister, when asked, well, when people get their return, the answer was, talk to Tanku. That ain't happening. That is madness in terms of expectation that may be legitimate or not in law. So you got to keep a very keen eye on what is going on.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this, eh? I may be right, I may be wrong. It may not happen now. I'm just saying something. It may not happen now. But maybe later on, when they assess the Treasury and assess what they have to do, you never know, Tanku might say, you know what? We're going to pay back at least 50% of the property tax. I don't know, I'm just saying something. I'm just saying something. Because people are going to hold Kamla Prasad business accountable. Accountable. She said, ask Tanku. Remember, finance is Tanku's portfolio, not Kamala. I want to let you understand that. Tanku controls finance. That is his ministry. Look, I believe the education ministry says there are going to be some thousands of laptops given away, I believe come September for when schools open. Look at that. Look at that. That is for educational purpose. So, I am not going to condemn something. Because we have been living for 9 years under the PNM administration with promises that never materialize. If Tanku says that they're going to be refunding property tax money, I side with the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give him his time. I'm going to give him his time. Kamala says ask Tanku. I am not going to ask Kamala that. I am not. She's the Prime Minister. Yes, we understand that. But keep in mind, Tanku is running finance. And if Tanku sees fit, you know what? We're going to pay back at least half of the people. Come together with Kamala. Let her know, well, here we're going on, Kamala. X, Y, and Z is the case. You said X, Y, and Z in the campaign. The people expected you, they trust you, they vote you in. It's all about trust now, you know. It's all about trust now. So if half of the people or quarter of the people got back their property tax, it shows, which means that they are willing to pay, but we're doing it in parts. So I am going to give Tanku the benefit of the doubt. I am going to give him some time in his ministry, and then I'm going to come back and ask him how he intends to pay. I am not going to ask Kamala. Kamala said ask Tanku. So this is where I put the brakes. I am not going to ask Kamala, when is finance ministry going to pay the property tax owners? No, I am not going to do that. I am not going to do that. I'll ask Tanku. Caller, good night. Hello?
Hello.
Go right ahead, you're live.
Hello, Mr. Saieed.
Yes?
I'm a pensioner. I pay property tax for 2 houses. Like small house. I am looking back for no money back. They take that money and 6 road and 6 village.
I understand.
That's what I want.
Thank you, my friend. I understand that.
Okay, thank you.
So Trinidad and Tobago. We're going back to Forex again, Former Attorney General have stated that Finance Minister Dave Tanku may have created a legitimate expectation in law when he said people who paid property tax would be getting a refund. He referred to a situation with Minister Tanku providing a legitimate experience when he said persons would be refunded, and then Kamala Prasad Bisasa said the opposite. Listen to this.
We will deal with it. We'll repeal it. It will take us time to put the law in place to repeal it. We have always been against the property tax in its present form, and we are taking steps to repeal the property tax. And refunds, I talk to Tanku. I think the only person mentioned refunds, I have never said that. Let Tanku tell me where he's finding the money for refunds. He's the Minister of Finance.
Trinidad and Tobago, you see how clear it is? Did you see how clear it is? Kamala Prasad, before I go there, let me say this. I am not affiliated with no political party. I want to let you understand that. But what you have to do, you have to listen. Pay attention. You want to know why me might pay attention? Director, run back that video clip one more time. Yo. Run back the video clip.
We will deal with it. We'll repeal it. It will take us time to put the law in place to repeal it. We have always been against the property tax in its present form, and we are taking steps to repeal the property tax. And refunds, I talk to Tanku. I think the only person mentioned refunds, I have never said that. Let Tanku tell me where he's finding the money for refunds. He's the Minister of Finance.
Ask Tanku. He is the Minister of Finance. So Tanku is going to create ways to pay them back. Because that is a promise that the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago are expecting. So like I said, I am not going to ask Kamala anymore. I am going to ask Tanku. You have a caller in line? Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night, Sai.
Go right ahead, your life.
I paid my property tax, and she could take my money and she could buy laptops for the children, because one of my sons got a free laptop, and if I could do something to help them, I will do something. I wonder how much property tax Mr. Arawi paid. And the other thing I want to say is that if it is they don't have the money to, and they need the money to get the laptops for the school children.
Correct.
I think that is priority. And get the laptops for the children, and we go think about that after.
Correct. Well said.
Right?
Well said. Thank you, my friend. Al-Rawi said the population had to keep a very keen eye on what was going on in this government. He said a minister role in relation to Section 85 of the Constitution was in relation to policy decision. Oh God, Forrest now know this. 9 years ago, Forrest didn't know this. Now he knows it. Wait. Dr. Keith Rowley said, my government will not shut down Petrotrin. And I will leave all with that, viewers. We are going for a short commercial break, but when we return, listen to this before we go for this break.
I find it astounding in law for a minister to be meeting with employees of entities. A minister interrogating the contracts one by one of employees in a state enterprise. That is a subrogation, and that is a removal of the statutory authority that boards of directors have or boards of governors have. You have limits in law that you have to be very careful about. A minister's role is in relation to certain policy decisions. Go and look at Section 85 of the Constitution and be guided by Section 85 of the Constitution. You cannot go and micromanage contracts and employments and people like that. I just say that you're going to be in serious trouble if you continue along that road.
Trinidad and Tobago, I love how Forrest is talking. I love how he does talk. But the thing is, was Section 85 happening under the PNM administration? Let me tell you something. I have real information, but I want Forrest to understand that. Was Section 85 being processed under the PNM administration before they come to tell the UNC this? Trust me, I have real information about Section 85. Caller, good night.
Hello?
Go right ahead, you're live.
Hello?
Hello?
Okay.
Stick. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but still locked on. I'm Saieed. You're viewing Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Lots more when we return.
We'll be right back.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtor Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtor Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
Welcome back.
So viewers, remember I must say, Real Talk Financing is the only financial institution in Trinidad and Tobago that is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit. Trinidad and Tobago. Call your banks, call your credit unions, call anywhere you want, any financial institution. And you will hear for yourself. 2%, 3% they're giving. No financial institution in Trinidad and Tobago is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit with your interest up front. That I could guarantee you. Your interest is up front. Call our office, viewers. Set up an appointment. Come down, get your information. And you're well on your way to creating a new avenue where your money works for you. I can tell you this, viewers. This fixed deposit is the only type of fixed deposit in Trinidad and Tobago. And it was introduced by me, Saieed Ali, where you're getting your interest up front. You no longer have to wait for 5 and 10 and 15 years to draw your interest to enjoy it. No, you don't have to wait that lengthy time frame. You could die and leave your money there and somebody else might inherit the interest of your hard-earned cash. So only at Real Talk Financing, when you sign up, you do your application, within 7 to 14 days, our office is going to call you to come collect your interest up front and you can enjoy it. Yes, viewers, only at Real Talk Financing. Remember that. Call a good night.
Saeed.
Go right ahead, you're live.
Right. I want to just show the hypocrisy of Saieed Ali. And I will draw 3 references to you, Saeed. One, when he's talking about the UNC want to micromanage and whatnot and whatnot. You remember in terms of his government, all the procurement and whatnot, and they was done when they watered down the thing and whatnot, and they was interfering with the procurement regulation, as it affects all different government ministries.
Correct.
Right, that's one. 2, this is the same Saieed Ali who was paying Vincent Nelson, how much, $100 million or something like that, in order to come up with false evidence against to prosecute Anand Ramlogan and Gerald Ramdi. That's 2. 3, this is the same man who, when they make him the Minister of Local Government, they took out money from Ministry of Local Government and put it into rural government, I think rural development, $200 million. And he took it from there for his ministry and he squandered it because we know nothing will come out of it. And finally, when he wants to talk about the refund for the property tax, Saeed, the 90-something million that they collected,
91,
which you were supposed to disburse to the various corporations, they did not send a cent to any of the corporation. So therefore, that fund should be still there in some special thing then, that to give to the corporation. And if the money was still there when they collected, they would have been able to refund the people back their money.
Correct.
But what they do, they take it and they send it to central government, which he and Colmebot and all of them squander the money. So if they did have the money put aside what they collected for the property tax, they would have been able to refund it back, right? So he can't come out and want to cry this thing and whatnot. And I tell you something, this opposition that you see the PNM going in power doing, they come out on one head. is to obstruct this government. So and everything and all legislation and whatever, they have no purpose.
Thank you, my friend. I understand. Thank you so much. So Trinidad and Tobago, Kamala Persad-Bissessar has promised to release a report that will expose what she described as a Forex cartel in this country. The PM said the Minister of Finance, Trade Investment, Tourism and Planning and Development have been mandated to bring to her a report on foreign exchange distribution and leakage over the last 10 years. She said the report will expose the main users and facilitators of Forex. Listen to this.
So we need to know where the Forex went, to whom it went, why it went, and how it was deployed, how it was used. Those reports will come to us and we will share them with you. Then, this report, as I say, will be made public to identify the main users, the main facilitators of this unfair distribution, and explain to the public how this entire Forex distribution cartel and conspiracy between certain operatives and businesses were functioning.
Persad-Bissessar, we have a phone call on line. Caller, good night.
A very, very good evening to Saieed.
To you, my friend.
Poor baby, oh my poor baby. Please, somebody mix a bottle of claim and take it to Forest for me, please, Oliver.
Thank you, my friend. Persad-Bissessar underscored her decision to restrict government spending on all advertising mentioned, that she has frozen all government hiring and the issue of government contract. Listen to this.
We have begun cutting ministers' housing perks, unnecessary and excessive government spending on advertising. I know you're all in the media and you need the advertising, but there should not be excessive government spending on advertising when there are people who cannot buy a meal. They cannot afford a bottle of baby milk for their children. That should not be happening. I have frozen all government hiring and issuing of government contracts just for a time until we get the new boards installed and we look at what has happened and what is the best way forward.
On the issue of state board, the Prime Minister described some as runaway horse. Listen to this.
Existing state boards and CEOs, do you know, they paid out hundreds of millions of dollars in the days between election day and election night and the day ministers were installed, and some are still continuing so to do without a proper mandate from the people.
Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Saieed.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Saieed, good night to you and your staff, man. And here is now, Mr. Saieed. I personally don't need the Prime Minister to go to Parliament to repeal, to change laws, to repeal the property tax on Saieed Ali. You know what we want? We want the Prime Minister to go into Parliament on Friday and make the statement that everybody in the country across the board must pay property tax. That's what we want to hear from Mr. Saieed Ali. Everybody across the board must be paying property tax and nobody must be exempted. That's what we want to hear when she go in Parliament. We don't want laws change and repeal property tax. We want the people who was exempting themselves from the property tax to be included now in paying the property tax. Mr. Saieed, imagine. Mr. Saieed, just imagine that none of the ministers of this country or none of the hierarchies of this country was exempted in tax, and we collect 90-point-something million dollars.
91
so I want
million.
the Prime Minister now to include everybody in property tax. Let Colin and Bert alone 90 million for what he owned it. Have a nice night, sir.
Thank you, my friend. Viewers, she also announced that a full Clico Commission of Inquiries report would be made public. The report was sent to the Director of Public Prosecution, DPP, in 2016. The Commission of Inquiry came to an end in 2013. Imagine that, eh? Listen to this.
That clinical report, we will lay it in Parliament. I think it was really, really intolerable that the government hid that clinical report from the Parliament and therefore from the people of Trinidad and Tobago. That was one of the greatest economic meltdowns that we have had, and therefore we deserve to know why, what, when, where, how, and what recommendations there are to prevent such contagion from taking place in our economy.
Well, we're going to see what that holds in it. TNT, Unified Teachers Association, tutor, President Martin Lumpkin, is concerned that the reintroduction of laptop programs by the United National Congress-led government could lead to misuse and what he called academic dishonesty. In a recent cabinet briefing, Education Minister Dr. Michael Dowlett announced that 18,000 devices were being procured for Form 1 students for the new academic year starting in September. Listen to this.
As we look forward to the procurement through iGovTT, I want to say that these laptops will not be given empty. They will be filled with AI tutors, educational videos, and programs that will allow our young people, age appropriate, that will allow them to live and learn in a digital world.
So I want to ask Martin Lumpkin. He's the president of Tutor. I want to ask him, for all these years, there have been bullying taking place in school. What plan or draft that he went to the Ministry of Education with to try and fix school bullying in the education system, in schools? Can Martin Lumpkin come out and tell Trinidad and Tobago how he plans to fix school bullying? Because for 9 years I have not heard Martin Lumpkin. I have not heard him. Martin, where are you? All of a sudden, you get a voice to talk. So for the last 9 years, you had no voice. None. All of a sudden, your voice come back. Why didn't you open the mouth that God gave you in your face and talk about school bullying and talk about a system in place for school bullying and how to deal with school bullying? Where was your voice, Martin? Where was your voice? However, Lumpkin welcomed the move but cautioned the proper safeguard must accompany the initiative. Listen to this.
This
So viewers, we will get to that shortly. The laptop distribution was initially implemented by the UNC administration in 2010. However, when the People's National Movement took office, a means test was introduced to ensure that only students who need a laptop receive one. Hey, that is madness, you know. That's real madness. But nevertheless, with the advancement of technology, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar promised that more AI programs will be rolled out through the Ministry of Public Administration and Artificial Intelligence. Kamla.
AI questions, simple questions.
So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, hopefully, it will be ready.
We'll be right back.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, Trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtor Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtor Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Welcome back.
Apologize for that, but nevertheless, we're going to hear what Lumpkin have to say as he welcomed the move, but caution the proper safeguard with the laptop. Listen to Lumpkin.
This area of honesty, integrity has to be ingrained in the students from an early age. And if students see that by hard work and not by cheating, they can get ahead and it is the correct way, then you will be able to utilize these programs. It wouldn't be 100% foolproof, but it is something we have to look at.
Now viewers, according to Kamala, with technology going into the 21st century, she said new programs are going to be introduced in the public administration and in artificial intelligence. Listen to this.
AI questions, simple questions. How can I get a birth certificate? Where is the nearest hospital? Where is the nearest health center? Simple questions that can be accessed with the AI. And I think this will be a tremendous boost, not just for students, and down the road later with my AI minister, I intend to roll that out further so all citizens can have that AI component that they can access information on the World Wide Web. I think that is a tremendous asset to the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
So Lumpkin, what I want you to do is here what to do, right? Since you are the president of Tutor, Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, what I want you to do, right? Since you're educated, come up with a plan to fix school bullying in this school. Do that for me. Do that. Take your time and look for ways to fix school bullying. Viewers, we are out of time for tonight, but nevertheless, our rerun of this program is tomorrow from 11:30 to 12:30. I will be right back here next night as we go live again. This is Saeed. Good night.